All right, it is 1 o'clock. We'll get started a little slowly, so if people are late to the party, they can join. If you're currently joining us with a box of tissues in one hand and a bottle of over-the-counter allergy spray in the other, you're in the right place. I know I am going through it myself with allergy season. My black car is currently green. Nobody likes that. So we're going to get into it with why is this happening and some natural remedies you can do to help yourselves. And today we have Julie Brown and Christine Van Diest, and they are experts in the subject matter. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then your relationship to allergies and how have become such an expert in the subject matter. And Christine, we're going to start with you.
Sure. Hello, I am Christine. I am a wellness coach helping people with their body care in many different ways. And I think for me, it was something that 15 years ago dialed in, but I struggled with childhood asthma, allergies. And so for me, 15 years ago, some of the things that we'll talk about really helped me. Now, 15 years later, even a couple years after that, I do not struggle with seasonal allergies like I did anymore. And it's just freedom in that feeling your best self. So I work with clients helping them really dial in habits to feel their best self inside and out.
That's amazing. To say I don't deal with seasonal allergies anymore is a very, very powerful statement. So looking forward to hearing more from you. And Julie, same question. Introduce
Yeah,
yourself and your relationship to the subject matter.
yeah, perfect. Hello, everyone. I'm Julie Brown, nurse practitioner, certified in functional medicine. I've been in the healthcare space for, oh, I don't even want to say, it's embarrassing, almost 30 years. So, my passion point comes from actually being a patient myself, being dismissed by 3 specialists regarding an unexplained allergic reaction I was having, and all the tests were coming back negative and normal. And so they just told me it was high stress and I just needed to just lower my stress level because everything was coming back normal. And here's some steroids that
Mhm.
will help you. It's just a band aid. And so, in getting certified in functional medicine, being a nurse practitioner, started doing that deeper dive, looking under the hood to figure out why, getting to the root cause. And it was a severe food allergy. So I opened up my own practice and I'm helping patients look at their gut microbiome, look at food allergy and sensitivity testing. And in myself being told it was all in my head, high stress, everything was normal. I love the fact that I can help patients get to the root cause and let them know that it's likely not in your head. It's usually a gut microbiome thing or a food allergy sensitivity issue.
Yes, amazing. Well, thank you, Julie. Thank you, Christine. And my name is Lisa Harrison. I am a consumer of over the counter allergy medications and I'm in marketing. So I work with Julie on the marketing space and I will also have real questions to ask. Like I said, I am an allergy sufferer myself. So I know we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. We're going to kick it off with this concept of the histamine bucket. So, Julie, can you explain the histamine bucket concept and what's that all about?
Yeah, I love this analogy because think of histamine. Histamine gets a bad rap, and so we think of it as the bad guy. But histamine is actually our little helpful messenger, and it's just gotten too loud. So it's fed by multiple things. So we need histamine to support our stomach acid and our blood flow and our immune defenses. It's meant to be that helpful messenger to help with all of those things. But when our histamine total, our bucket gets too full, so we're going to have histamine in the bucket, but when it gets too full, then your body can't clear it. And when it starts to overflow, is when you have those classic things that Lisa already mentioned with the sneezing and the congestion and headaches and skin rashes and anxiety. Histamine feeds all of that. So it's our helpful messenger, but when it overflows, the bucket is overflowing. That's when you have those outward symptoms that drive us all insane, having us go for the Claritin and the Zyrtec and the Zantac and all the things. So, it's not just pollen. It's stress, it's high histamine food, it's alcohol, it's all of these environmental toxins that we're exposed to, also food allergens, and gut microbiome. And so even certain medications can lead to a higher histamine load as well. So if your microbiome's off, your bucket's going to be more full. So we got to make sure that your pathways are detoxing, that we're reducing histamine where we can, so it can really just be the good guy, the good messenger helping out, but not overflowing your bucket.
Very good. Very good. And Christine, why do some people react to everything while others feel fine?
Yeah, it does seem frustrating, right? It's interesting. I'm identical twin and I grew up and I'm the only one out of the two of us that suffered with childhood asthma. I was on medications early. I mean, literally having two people in the same place at the same time always, and that was always so interesting to me. So again, going back to that gut microbiome, like we're still unique individuals and again, it's just the different things that we are exposed to. So depending on where people are at and living, it's like the environmental toxins. It's choosing whatever you're putting in your house. I always said, in my home, I can be in control for the most part what I experience. So do I have candles? Do I have sprays? What's my laundry detergent? What's the things that I'm washing my clothes? I'm sleeping on my pillow. I'm inhaling. There's a lot of things that add to that. Like Julie said, stress, everyone's stress load is different. And even calming is different. And I think the nutritional aspect of it, we can choose our diet. And so what am I eating or not eating that is either helping or hurting or hindering that. So it is like I mean, it's even between someone that identical twins, we feel it. We had a lot of same experiences, but very different ones as well. And I think all those things add up.
Yeah,
Wow, that's fascinating.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's not a measure of like how tough somebody is or isn't or their immune like it's just a matter of like how full is their bucket before they even walk out the door from stress, nutrient depletion and poor sleep. I mean, those are huge ones that also so you could be walking out the door in the morning with your bucket two-thirds full already before you even hit the pollen.
Hmm. Oh yeah, and I would say hormone changes. I think as women,
Yeah.
where we are in the cycle, where we are, like maybe we were on birth control for many, many, many years. You know, there's certain things that some people experienced and didn't. And I think that hormonal changes is another bucket and another thing that makes it different load-wise for one woman to the next.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. So, Christine, how can we identify our personal triggers?
I mean, I think for me, it was first realizing what I didn't know. And I think one of that was I had no idea that the toxins I brought into my home would affect my microbiome, would affect my body, would affect how I ate, how I slept, how I digested, all those things. So I think one thing was what can I change? And maybe being aware of the things that do impact my microbiome. That would be like my nutrition, my sleep, my stress. Products that I'm eating and I'm ingesting. And so I think for me, it was just maybe looking at, what are the top triggers that, make this, provide the histamine response, which is like Julie said, your body is reacting in a good way. It's showing you symptoms of a deeper issue of something root problem. I think for me, if I looked at the whole food category, it's doing like a food log. When do I feel the worst? Is it after I ate this food or that food? And just, when you're in that season of, gosh, I really just don't feel good. I feel lethargic. I'm not sleeping well. I'm not recovering, do a little food log and notice what you're taking. Now we have ChatGPT, so honestly, we truly could speak into a phone and say, "This is what I ate. This is how I slept," and then just see what the average of what's going on. So we can be our own sleuth, and that's just one category of breaking it down, being aware of truly what we're eating and how is it affecting our body in that regard. So and then I guess some people sleep with things and oh, I got poor sleep, I got great sleep. Well, what made me get poor sleep? What in the last 12-hour window
Mm-hmm.
did I do? Was there major stress going on in work, in relationship? Um, did I not move and I sat at my computer all day long? Was there movement involved? So I think maybe it's just writing down some of the major buckets and seeing where am I falling short or where am I excelling that I need to do a deeper dive.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was perfect.
And I know, so Julie sent me a story, and you've mentioned it a couple times, uh, like your clothing and your lawn, like it's more than just food. So, Christine, can you go a little deeper? Tell me a story and talk about how it's the histamine bucket can get full from not just the food and the stress and the stuff we've already talked about, but laundry.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I love Mia's story. It's something where she identified with a tissue box, and she was that, I think, in sixth grade for Halloween because she always had a tissue with her. She never did not know sneezing and allergies. Our story is very similar. I was always a runner, and I remember living in Greeley where there are smells, but I just knew as a runner, I think from 8 years old and on, I had to have an inhaler. I did not travel without my inhaler. And if I went on a run, I always had to take a hit of my inhaler, or I would have to stop and walk because I couldn't breathe. I remember hearing about toxins in my home, what you clean with, what you wash your dishes with, think about you spray. And I had never considered toxins like that in household products could really cause a lot of irritants. So I ordered this whole package, Get Clean. It's a Shackley line, very very safe, non-toxic. I I basically stopped using all my traditional, what you see on TV marketing.
Yeah.
Maybe I probably can't say the big box names, but you guys all probably know what I mean. All these big box names. And I got rid of it. I remember going on a run. I forgot to take a hit on my inhaler. This is after I'd used it for maybe 2 weeks. And I thought, surely I'm going to stop running and stop and not breathe. I kept running. I ran the whole route. I'm like, that's weird. I did not wheeze at all. Next day, same thing. And I realized, what did I change? What was the variable? The only variable I changed is I'd gotten rid of all my toxic cleaners, everything from spray to laundry to, dishwasher, hand soap. And it was my biggest aha that it's been 15 years since I've used an inhaler. It changed my life.
Holy
And then
crap.
it was then adding some things into my body to really build back up my immune system. So it was phenomenal.
So should I throw everything I have in the garbage like right now?
I think so, yes. Maybe find a safe place to dispose, which some of them are crazy. If you read the fine print, you need to actually dispose it in a better way, not just pour it down your drain. So it just was such a game changer of how safe it was for me, also for the environment. So I honestly felt like I was doing my due diligence to be a better steward of the earth because what I was choosing to put down my sink and down the disposal was a game changer. And next month is Earth Month. So
Ah,
it's really to me the biggest thing people can do to be a better steward is do something like this. And it's
yeah.
very cost savings too.
You have no idea how much better you're gonna feel.
Yeah.
That's an interesting. Hey, maybe for Earth Month we should all experiment and try some new products.
Yes.
So okay, that's we talked about causes. So Julie, from the functional medicine perspective, how do we identify leaks in our bucket?
So we have to look at so we know that you can't avoid everything. So your histamine bucket's going to have some in it every day, no matter what. But there are things like good hydration, proper nutrition. So if you're not hydrated, if you're not eating proper protein, if you're not eating a wide variety like the colors of the rainbow of fruits and vegetables and good fiber, things that actually feed the good bacteria in your gut, it will clog the bucket, and so then it fills up faster and can overflow sooner. Other things like, I mean, it wouldn't be a webinar if I didn't bring this up. Are you pooping every day? Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're not pooping every day, you're not detoxifying, and guess what? That's clogging the bucket, called clogging the drains in the bucket, and it's going to make your bucket, overflow. Other things that can clog the bucket are seems silly, but like restrictive clothing, like yes, like everything
Really?
being compressed. You want your lymphatic system, which is your drainage system, to be moving and flowing, and you do that with movement, hydration. If you're sedentary at the desk all day long and you're not moving around and you're not focused on because when you go for a walk, even if it's a short walk, your breathing pattern changes. So your diaphragmatic breathing, that helps your nervous system, the movement helps your lymphatic system, which is the drainage system, keep the bucket level normal and doesn't overflow it.
Very interesting.
I know.
Well, I mean, so yoga pants every day is a bad move.
Well, depends on how forgiving they are, but usually you're wearing them to compress everything.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay, noted,
Yeah.
noted. I need all new laundry detergent and loose fitting pants.
Yes.
All right. So, I mean, but some people really have allergies. It's not a histamine bucket thing. So, Christine, how does your gut health directly impact allergies and inflammation, and when is it really an allergy and when is it your gut?
Yeah, I mean, this is where Julie's probably the go-to here, but I know that, I mean, something that I you hear, but that 70% of your immune cells are in your gut. And so it's just true when your gut is overloaded with toxins, overloaded with the bad bacteria, and not enough good. It's like we have good and bad, but if the balance is tipped in the scales of the bad is higher, that's the leaky gut, that's things that are getting into your bloodstream and system that is not healthy. If even just your major organs like your liver's not detoxing well, then you have extra estrogen circling in your body. There's just so much that you're going to feel icky. And so it's just a matter of truly that brain gut connection that you're feeling, you're really restoring and releasing the things that are not meant to stay longer in your body. It's interesting. I say this whole thing that I can typically, and this is maybe too TMI, but I can typically be a person that I can be more on the constipated side than having like loose stools. And so I do not like it when I travel and I don't have a bowel movement in that day. It frustrates me. And Steve's like, "You're making it worse because my husband, you're frustrating and you're getting all stressed." And I'm like, "I am stressed because I'm supposed to have a BM every day. It's healthy." But it's interesting. If you Google, there are some people, you'll find information out there that says, well, on average, you can go every 2 to 3 days, and that is okay. You read stuff out there like that. And that makes me frustrated because that I know is not healthy. We once we smell that olfactory, like our body is already in that digestive rhythm, what we eat, we need to be releasing in some way the food that had been there 10, 12 hours prior. So, yeah, it's interesting. The gut connection and the brain gut is so powerful and important that we really need to double down on that versus, I think at the beginning of the call, masking it with just over the counter, whatever, or even vitamins, masking it, and we're not getting to the true origin and root of what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. Let's expand on that. So, Julie, if we're taking things every day, like I take an antihistamine, I do the nasal spray, I know that probably goes directly to my gut. What's the real reason they're not working for me, and what can I do about it?
So the reason they're not working is because you're basically putting a band-aid on the symptom, the bucket overflowing. And so then we have to ask, like, why is it overflowing? And so all you're doing is it's let me see. It's kind of like putting, by taking those over the counter antihistamines, for example, you do feel a little bit better, but it's like putting noise canceling headphones on those receptors. So it's blocking the signal so that you do get a little bit of relief, that band aid relief, but it's not addressing what's turning up the volume in the first place. So it does temper the symptoms. You might feel less terrible, but it's not addressing why the bucket's overflowing. So then we start looking at, like, okay, what is causing the bucket to overflow, which are the things that we've already talked about it's not just the pollen outside, it's how you're hydrating, how you're sleeping, your stress level, movement, or more so lack of movement, or true allergies and sensitivities to the foods that you're eating. In my example, I had no clue it was eggs. I had there was no correlation. And that was literally like overflowing my bucket at breakfast and not even knowing it. So sometimes you don't have known food allergies or sensitivities. Some reactions can happen up to 72 hours later, not immediately. And so you find yourself in this loop, especially in a high pollen season, where you're just taking Claritin or Benadryl, all the things every day for a season, and you're groggy, you don't sleep as effectively, the brain fog. So, I mean, yeah, you might not be living with the box of Kleenex with you, but you don't feel great. You don't feel 100%, which zaps your energy and your mood and affects your hormones and your cortisol and all the things.
Yeah. That's so, Christine, you went from taking things to not taking things.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, expand. How do we all do that? What are some gut supportive foods? Like, what do I need to change immediately?
Uh-huh.
Aside from all my laundry and cleaning supplies, that's
Yes.
on the
Well,
list.
it's interesting because I feel like sometimes, like, again, going back to the good and bad ones higher, I think in seasonal times when there is the extra pollen and stuff, like it just makes it more acute. But still, probably there's always this underlying imbalance going on. But in certain seasons, it's more acute that we're like, oh, we must have allergies. But really, for me, that inhaler was definitely a relief, or I couldn't breathe. But getting to the issue of I need to reduce that toxin load in my gut. And then I was able to heal. So I think that's true as far as, again, going back to that food log. If I know that, you know what, I've tried other things, but I guess for the last 4 days, I've eaten eggs every morning. So maybe I should go get a food allergy test to see, because I think there's something in the food department that's not, my body's not doing well with. Um, and so I think it's doing one incremental change at a time, because this is what I tell someone, like when I'm coaching someone and they want to see changes, like we said with Amazon, I want to see changes tomorrow or the next day. I'm going on a vacation in 7 days. I better see results. But it could be that I'm looking at the one thing this week I'm going to change, because then I need to take that off my list. It doesn't bother me anymore. If I try to change 5 things, I have no idea what 5 things really worked and what I'm really
Mhm.
bothered by. So to me, it's taking the time to be consistent with some habits and go, oh, that was a game changer, or that really made it worse. Because again, I think going back to masking it with things that we're not getting to the root cause delays our growth or delays our results, because we've done too much too fast and we don't know what was working. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's what is it? The Whole 30 diet, I think works like that, where you eliminate all the things that are traditional inflammatory foods and you introduce them one at a time to see, oh, am I reacting to it? You're saying do it the other way. Eliminate what you think might be causing your issue and go backwards.
I think if you have an idea, but also, sometimes you don't know. So I
Yeah.
think there's something like the Whole 30, and then I've done taken people on like a 7-day cleanse where it's really focusing on fruits and veggies, but maybe some of the higher histamine veggies people don't need or want. So, and I do like having healthy protein. So it's being very clear, what am I eating that is working or not working, and then just only taking one away to see if there's something that stands out. Because yeah, it's just going to hard get to the root cause if we're doing everything at once. And then I think what I've learned too with Julie is sometimes the going back to the basic of what are the things my body needs. My body most likely is deficient what nutrients, in D or magnesium or omegas if I'm not eating a really healthy fish on, a couple times a week. So I think maybe an answer question is what was helpful for me with Julie is getting a whole blood panel.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I really at? Like, let's see what are some high risk or maybe some things that just are standing out. And that even for her being able to coach me and go, okay, you've got some underlying inflammation going on. I'm like, huh, okay, where could that be? And so I think it was just fun to have a target to go to. What does my blood work tell me right now that I
Yeah.
need to focus on? I think that was one that again is very individual, which I think is super helpful.
So if I know I don't feel good and I don't know where to start. Maybe Julie, starting with you is a really good option to just do a baseline test, blood work.
Yeah, there's so much that can be identified in blood work to look at. Are you struggling with parasites? Are you struggling with bacterial infection, viral infection, fungal infection? Is there a lot of inflammation in your body that, is it cholesterol? Like, do you have a lot of plaque buildup? All of these questions can be answered in just your routine blood work. It's not the $400, $500, $600 fancy advanced testing; those can be done as well. But just your foundational blood work really, your blood labs are really trying to tell you the story. And just you don't in the commercial space have, having been there, I can say this because now I've been on the commercial and the functional side. It's about volume and spending less than 10 minutes with each person because we got to see a lot of people every day. I'm able to sit with you for an hour and tell you line by line what everything means, what's it pointing to. And the flip side, I have people who are like, I need mold testing, I need gut stool testing, and I'm like, actually, you don't. Based on your blood work, I think that might be a waste of money. So it
Really?
does tell the story both in supporting what's going well and where you have opportunity. I would
Okay.
say another point about like the food stuff is that you can have up to a 72-hour delay in a reaction. So that's almost more troublesome because most people think if it's not an immediate or same day reaction, then woo, that I'm good to
Mm.
go. So perfect point on the whole 30. The beauty of that one is you do only eat off the yes list, so no gluten, no dairy, no alcohol, no sugar. You only eat off that yes list for 30 days, and then you reintroduce one thing at a time, 3 days apart, because it's not until after 72 hours that you can be like, okay, now that can go onto my yes list. Hope that makes sense.
That's good. That's really good. I don't think I hear that enough, the 3 day, 72-hour rule. So that's really important to remember.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Okay, so there's a lot of confusion in the supplement aisle. I know you both mentioned vitamin D. I know that's a big one. So, Julie, can you help us? What should we be looking for? What are some remedies that work? And what how should we be using them?
I have a few, and I know Christine has some too. So hopefully we've got like we'll complement the list nicely here. So anyone that knows me knows that vitamin D. Like if you tell me, Julie, I can only afford one supplement. I don't care if I have 10 things wrong. What is the number one thing you would recommend? Vitamin D, hands down. It is your cancer prevention, cancer fighting, cancer prevention, anti-inflammatory, autoimmune protector, brain protector, bone protector, immune system protector. It is like just horribly undervalued. Most of the population is deficient. I, in an informal survey over 5 years at working at a cancer center, I have yet to have a new cancer diagnosis, a patient with a new cancer diagnosis with a normal vitamin D level. They're always really, really low. So I tell people you want to be 50 to 80. 50 to 80 is the sweet spot, and that puts your superhero cape on. Vitamin D is huge. So other things are vitamin C, zinc. Vitamin D and
Mhm.
zinc love to be best friends, especially for your immune system. In the throes of COVID, the protocol was 10,000 international units of vitamin D3 plus 100 milligrams of zinc. Now, if you're going to take zinc, you want to take it with food, not on an empty stomach, because it will make you very, very nauseous, and then you'll be messaging me not very happy. So zinc and vitamin D. So zinc on a with food, and then vitamin D is one of your fat solubles. So it does its best job when it's taken with food, not on an empty stomach. It's not going to make you nauseous on an empty stomach, but if you're going to like supplement, you want to make sure you're taking them at the right times to get the
Right.
most. When it comes to things like nature's antihistamine as a functional medicine provider, I want to make sure I'm always highlighting like, so vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C are all good. Uh, Quercetin and stinging nettle are two that you can take that really help support and down regulate that histamine response. So it's almost like opening a spigot on the histamine bucket when you do the
Ooh.
quercetin. And we have products in Shaklee that are amazing, like the Triple Boost Immunity. Like it's a yummy berry packet that I will put in, and it has like all the good, yummy herbs and the quercetin as well, which really, really helps support that mast cell stabilization, which is a whole nother conversation we could have, but really helps. To me, it's the spigot, add to the spigot on the histamine bucket, which is like an easy way for people to remember that. So think of that as like nature's antihistamine. People will usually notice like less congestion, less itching. Itching was a really huge thing for me. So are these things that you take every day? No. Just knowing that the high pollen season is coming, and you know
Mhm.
that there's these times throughout the year it's going to be worse, and so your histamine bucket's going to overflow faster. Just kind of prep, like, a few weeks before you know that season's going to hit. Then you just kind of like dial those in, take them every day just to help support that bucket and create that spigot to help avoid it like overflowing. See, zinc. Local honey. Local honey is an easy
Heard this
one.
one.
This one
That's
is,
true.
yes, local honey. So not the bear on the shelf at the regular store, at the grocery store. And also I'm a huge fan of supporting local business as well. So wherever we
Yeah.
can do that, local honey is amazing. A little bit goes a long way. If you're struggling with blood sugar issues, then we need to talk about other alternatives for you. But for the most part, local honey is an amazing, just a teaspoon a day. You could do it in tea, you could do it in your coffee, you could just do it regular. It helps soothe your throat as well. So if you've got like post-nasal drip, it's amazing
No.
for that as well. And then movement. Like if we're stagnant and sedentary and not moving, just movement and hydration helps with your lymphatic system so that those drains don't get clogged.
Even when I don't feel good and I don't want to go outside because the pollen's out there?
You can do a dance party in the kitchen or 30 air squats.
Okay. All right, deal. All right. Christine, do you have any other remedies or supplements you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, I know, like she did mention the triple defense boost. It's like a powder. I've had it hot and cold. I travel with it because I think too, when I travel, I know that my immune is going to be compromised when I'm on an airplane, when I'm in different settings, different foods.
Hmm.
It is, I mean, so I use it throughout the year, but you're right. I don't have to use it every day. But when I know, like back in the day when I did go through it was like the football season, I'm outside with my kids. August, it's like, I mean, I would sneeze 100 times a day. This is before I started on any of these regimens. And I think for me, it was this one pack of Vitalizer Women's Strip that was I didn't have to overthink it, but it had the B's and C's and D's and multivitamin. It just was a really great grab and go for me. And then if you don't have an autoimmune, there is something of a nutriferon helping really boost your body's own interferon, which is something that helps you kind of fight off what's invading your body. Um, I did that seasonally. I would double down on the season I typically would have allergies. And I think that's what is important is like, you know, a little is a little late. So if you're already sneezing in the throes of the season, you're not going to get the results. If I know now, gosh, August or when the buds start coming, I need to start the week or two prior. Kind of like when you know your period's coming. You just know there's certain things 2 weeks prior, I need to prepare for it. That will be your best bang for your buck because you're going to go through that typical season where you suffer in a way, and that will be the next thing to see how you sail through it when you've really armed your body with the right stuff and you've getting more sleep. I think it's crazy that when you really get good sleep, your body is going to restore. And sometimes if we're hitting the candle at both ends while we're in this season, that's where it's just going to take longer, I think, for us to recover. So really, our body does well when it sleeps well and it moves. So I always say, if you can't move anything, I mean, it's hard. Go after dinner. And Julie and I've talked about this in our blood sugar webinar, like walk 10 to 15 minutes after dinner. If that's the only time you can move, that's the best time to move because it really will help your blood sugar get really balanced out, so you're not, sleeping too heavy with all that food in your tummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fight the urge to go like sit down and watch TV right after that big meal.
Yes. Walk first and you can watch TV.
Yeah, yeah. No, and it also reminds me when you were talking about like, just I feel like it's really important that we chew like we don't rush through. We just like burning the candle at both ends. Like we don't rush through our meals. It is meant to be an experience. We see it, we smell it, we hear it. We usually are communicating with people that we love through conversation, and it should be not rushed. It shouldn't be fast. Our stomach doesn't have teeth. Obviously our mouth does, and so we're meant to chew and get it liquefied, not totally, but whole pieces shouldn't be going down because your stomach doesn't have teeth. So you want it mostly to so chew thoroughly, so that it is fairly liquefied when it reaches your stomach, because if it's in whole pieces, you have bacteria in your intestines that are histamine producers. And so if you have food that's going down, not liquefied in your stomach's having to work really, really hard to chew it or liquefy it, which then has the food sitting there because it's not going to go forward until it's liquefied into the intestines, and it's rotting and fermenting, and that fermentation is creating gases, which is feeding the bad guys and causing leaky gut.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
just chewing thoroughly is a huge free tip.
Mm.
Okay, so I got a lot of stuff. I mean, we covered a lot here. Julie, you that guide that you created, which is now on your website, there
Okay.
was a lot of information in there. I'd love to touch on some high histamine foods that we should stay away from, and then some low histamine foods. Um, do you want to start with the
Yep.
high ones we should stay away from?
Yeah. So the things that I think of right away that come with the highs are like the fermented food categories. So think of like the kombuchas and like cabbage, kefir, aged cheeses. So the younger and softer the cheese, the better. The yummier and more aged and harder the cheese, that's not that. Those are higher histamine. Uh, Over ripened fruits also, so that those can be higher histamine producers. Tomatoes are known for being higher histamine. Leftovers,
Yeah.
every day that they're in the fridge, they are producing, the food is produced, the bacteria that is slowly growing is producing histamine. So for each day that goes by, it's going to have a higher histamine count. Red wine and beer are probably the top two, which still leaves our tequila and vodka as still our preferred if we're gonna have them. Those are the ones even in the histamine conversation. And yeah, so I feel like those are the big takeaway points from the high.
Wait, Christine, did you have any other like high fermented foods or things, maybe weird foods that you've seen people react to that it's their personal, histamine flair?
Mhm. Those are the bigger ones, I would say. And I think for some people with the allergy or that response is like the gluten, the dairy, things like that. I just now know my body digests better when I have the lactose-free yogurt, lactose-free cottage cheese, lactose-free even whole milk. Like it just, so for me, it was something realizing what my body just naturally digested so that I could have that good elimination. If not, I'm more constipated. So I think even things like that, the fact that you're not releasing and getting it out of, you're finding foods that you have are problem foods. So those were problem foods for me as well.
Yeah. And then Julie, you said eggs was yours, but you didn't know that until you did a deep dive.
I did the deep dive food allergy and sensitivity test by Precision Point. It's
Mm.
the P88, and it was egg white and egg yolk were number one and number two. They were, and I've learned. So here's another thing. Like I want people to have hope. Like it's not a forever elimination. It is a 3 month elimination, and then you reintroduce slowly over time, and you figure out like how often you can have it. So, in short, I know I can now have eggs, and as long as they're not back to back days and only twice a week, I'm golden. I can still enjoy them. I can still look forward to my favorite omelet, and I just know I can't do it more than twice a week and I can't do it back to back days. And I have been rash free for 6 years. It's been
Mhm.
amazing.
That's awesome.
That is amazing. Okay, let's go with low histamine foods. Like what's on my diet if I need to get some of my bucket. I need to get it out of here. What do I eat?
So, some simple like proteins, so like freshly cooked proteins, like, chicken or turkey or lamb, whatever your favorites are. Fresh fish, same day. So, and ideally, like when we're talking about like salmon, for example, you want wild caught. You don't want farm raised. There's all kinds of stuff that they're consuming. So you want wild caught whenever possible. As far as like dairy products, for those of you that just can't let not have your cheese, which I love cheese, is like think of like the softer ones, younger ones, like the ricotta, the mozzarella, that those type. Goat cheese is also really, really good as well. Some good veggies, like the cruciferous veggies, are always really, really good for us. And the good guys, the good bacteria, love cruciferous vegetables. So, like the broccoli, the cauliflower, zucchini, squash, beets. Beets are amazing for us. Fruits, think not too ripe. So, like apples and blueberries, so anything that's ends in berries, think of them also as polyphenols. The good bacteria love polyphenols, so think of those dark berries. Any fruit that ends in the word or ends in berry is going to be top of the list, great for you. So blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, all of those blueberries are at the top of the list. They are full of amazing stuff. And all of your healthy fats. Like think of like olive oil, coconut oil, like ghee, and then
Avocado.
avocado. Yes, and that's a healthy fat as well. So like herbs, ginger and turmeric and rosemary and like just as fresh as possible, same day if possible.
Yeah, one of the things that I read on, it's now on the website if anybody wants to go read more about it, is restaurant leftovers in particular, because you don't know when they food prepped that. That could have been sitting out for days
Yeah.
in a refrigerator. Now you're bringing it home into the refrigerator. That one kind of messed with me a little bit. So now I'm looking at my leftovers like they're dirty.
So you
Yeah.
can
It
if
was a good
it's
eye opener for me too.
yeah. If you need to food prep because so many of us do because our schedules are
Yes.
so insane, you eat obviously like as same day as much as possible, but for the subsequent days, put it in the freezer. So portion it out, put it in the freezer, and that doesn't eliminate the histamine production, but it greatly reduces it. So it's going to be better for you than if you just put 5 containers in the fridge and then pull one out each day. You're better off having the one in the fridge, putting the 4 in the freezer, and then just taking it out as you need it. It just slows it a little bit.
Mhm.
That was very
I have
interesting.
a quick question. It's interesting when someone says to you, you need to build a better gut microbiome, and they will tell you kombucha and certain things like that.
Yes.
What that's the one thing I'm a little, when they're higher histamine foods. So is that just where seasonally, if you are really struggling with your histamines, don't have that, but on other times of the year, then integrate, interact with those. Is that a good
Perfect.
and expand? Okay, explanation. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I
No.
had to reconcile that in my head too, so I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So if you know you're more susceptible and your histamine bucket's already starting off half full in the morning, then those are seasons where because your gut microbiome likes diversity. It doesn't want you taking the same probiotic bottle every month for 12 months. Way prefers, because we want to create diversity, to have like maybe like at least two preferred ones that you like, and alternate month one take this one, month two take this one, and then go back and forth and like that. So it does like diversity. So it's not good to have the kombucha every single day. Like we do need to be changing things up and not consuming the same exact thing day in and day out,
Yeah,
ideally.
yeah, very good.
Very good. All right, so we're reaching the end. Christine, are there any other thoughts or tidbits or anything else you'd like to share?
No, I would say start by just doing an inventory. Maybe, an inventory of your home. And going back to my story of what are the typical smells and toxins that I could actually exchange for something that's way cleaner. I think we really don't understand that that can be, until we look around, we may not know how many things we have in our home that's contributing to the toxins that, whether it's beauty
Mhm.
to, what's in your kitchen to what's in your laundry room. That's one thing. And I think start maybe doing a food log and seeing what that would be and then integrating movement. So I think if you had 5 things and you really focused on one in a week and really double down on, we're about like spring cleaning. So maybe spring cleaning to you means
Yeah.
I'm getting rid of my toxic cleaners and I'm going to buy something like the Get Clean or very trustworthy. What I love about it, it's been around for decades and decades and it's super trustworthy and very inexpensive. So I think it's just making a list and really focusing on one a week and then reaching out for help. If you haven't met with Julie and you've not done a blood panel, like she said, she's done it with my husband, myself, my daughter, and I mean spending a good hour, 55 minutes to an hour, and you come back with such great understanding of what to do next. So super helpful for me. Those are some go-tos or calls to action, I would say.
Perfect. Julie, anything to add there?
No, just and to tag on to what she's saying, just it's not just about what we're eating, it's not just about the pollen outside, it's about our protein, hydration, our movement, our stress, our sleep, our gut microbiome, supporting our immune system, putting those things in place to help support the histamine because we need it so it can be the messenger and keeping things at bay as it senses the intruders, but not overwhelming the system. So it's not that something's broken, it's just overwhelmed. And we just need to support it through these various things like being more mindful about your leftovers and moving your body a little bit more, because who would think that just moving your body after a meal would help your histamine level? Like, you're not putting those two together. A good quality probiotic. Make sure you got that vitamin D. Oh my gosh, that vitamin D is so good.
Mhm.
And something else, Christine, that I know she's like a master at this one, but the alfalfa complex with the minerals and the chlorophyll, just to help, because I feel like that helps with the, it helps add a spigot naturally. Can you speak a little bit more to the alfalfa complex?
Yeah, it's honestly, it's part of way back in the day. I did the 7-day cleanse, and there were some certain supplements that were carefully selected for that reason to detox your body, liver detox, probiotic, alfalfa, and herblax for the kind of colon. But the alfalfa is something that truly I think is really safe to take every day, but it's just the taproot minerals that our bodies don't get, but it really helps with um, inflammation to, I even get it to give it to my dogs. I truly do for the itching, for just like them to have good coats. But it's something that back in the day with my kids, when they had snotty nose, I would grind up in a mortar and pestle the alfalfa tablets, and it's like spearmint because it's got the spirulina in it. And my kids grew up with green applesauce. Sometimes if they had a cute cold, I would do a defend and resist, which had more echinacea. So it was like purple dragon. Purple green applesauce. My kids knew it. I slipped in a tiny pearl or probiotic in there. And I would say that helped keep my kids really symptomatic and really build up their
Mm.
good immunity through their childhood. Now my kids are all out of the house grown, but it really was something as simple as having these on hand, having well, and if you want to reach out, having a herbal medicine cabinet. There's so much things you could replace with what you find over the counter.
I love, Christine, that when you said that at some point your kids really thought that applesauce only came green. Like, they didn't realize it came in any
They
other
did.
color.
That's pretty cute.
Yeah.
All right, Christine, if somebody wants to reach out to you, what's the best place to find you?
Yeah, christinevandies.com. It's a website I have, or christine.vandies at Gmail. So I kept my name in it. It's very easy. Either a website or Gmail is probably the easiest. Yeah.
Excellent. And I know we have your information on Julie's website.
Yeah.
And Julie, what's the best place to find you?
My website is www.vthefunctionaldifference.org. And you can reach out to me through chat, yeah, so there's a little chat feature there as well. You can book your first free consult with me where we talk about what your goals and concerns are, and see how we can prioritize and finally help get you some answers.
Yeah.
Yes. And there is a ton more information on Julie's website. And Julie and Christine have done a couple webinars together. So under the resources section, if you're interested in more information, you can rewatch some webinars. A lot of the links and the stuff that they talked about today from Shackley, the products are linked on Julie's website if you need to reach out. So thank you so much. I know I
Mm.
have a list of things that I'm gonna go look at myself. So hopefully everybody watching, you have at least one or two takeaways. If not, reach out to Christine or Julie. They can help you through your journey and hopefully get you some relief from that sneezing.
Awesome. Thank you
Thank
guys
you,
for joining
everyone.
us.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
everybody.
much.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.